on. It is another day and another dang stoplight. So we're getting off to a good start today. What are we doing, Mr. Skeleton? We are doing it's spring, everybody. It feels like spring. It's not officially spring. The groundhog said something about it not being spring, but guess what? He lied because it's 61 degrees out in February right now. So we're getting out this morning and we're doing some spring / Easter or spring-a-ween / Easter. We're probably not going to see any Halloween kind of stuff or spooky stuff, but we're going to look at some spring decor, some Easter decor. Maybe we can find some stuff that goes with some of my home decor, but just in general, we're going to check out all the things and see what's out there this year. And so we're going to go, our first stop, you know where we're going for our first stop. We got to go to HomeGoods. I feel like this isn't any sort of decor hunting video without a good old HomeGoods stop. I almost said shop, but I meant stop and shop. And then we're going to cruise over to Michael's because we can't cruise to Joann's anymore. So now we're going to cruise to Michael's right next door, see what they have. And then I think that's it for today, but we're going to have more in this video. In this video, I'm wanting to see at home. I want to run to Walmart. I was just at Walmart a couple days ago. They hadn't started taking down their Valentine's Day stuff yet. So they didn't have any Easter out. So we're going to go, I think in a couple days. I'm going to give them a couple days and see where they're at. So we're going to eventually go to Walmart. And in this process of spring decor hunting and Easter decor hunting, I'm also going to be shopping for my boy's Easter basket. So I'm looking for some decor and for some Easter basket stuff. Because, okay, part of me wants to decorate. When is Easter this year? Can I ask somebody? Does my car do? Hey, what am I going to ask? Oh, hey, when's Easter this year?
Easter's on Sunday, April 5th this year. That's for Western churches, like Catholic and Protestant.
Okay, thanks, bye-bye. Okay, so Easter's April 5th this year. Oh. So normally, I don't always decorate for Easter because we do halfway to Halloween in April. So now, this year, because Easter's early, or is it? I don't know. Hold on. When was Easter last year?
Easter last year in 2025 was on April 20th.
Okay, yeah. Last year was April 20th. So it is early this year. So I feel like I can decorate for Easter. I'm going to go ahead and skip. I almost said 4th of July. Where is my brain today, you guys? I am on another planet right now. I was like, I'm not going to decorate for 4th of July. It is February. Okay, I meant I'm not going to decorate for St. Patrick's Day this year. I'm going to decorate for Easter this year and halfway to Halloween this year. So we're going to do both. I don't know. Somebody mentioned doing a spring mantle, almost like a fairy thing. Fairy meets like mystical spring. It'd be I have such a good idea for it, but I don't know if I have the decor for it. I spit everywhere. I could put my little sheep up there, put some mossy garland up. Where is my garland? I put my garland away with my Christmas garland. Oh, well, I can find it. It's marked in a box. Mossy stuff and mossy garland. I have these glass jars that I can fill with moss and little maybe moths. Oh, man. Okay, wait. We're getting somewhere, everybody. We might be doing a spring. Okay, now I'm looking for something totally different. Oh, wait, I also have that silver kind of folky looking rabbit. So I'm looking for, okay, scratch everything. We're looking for some woodland creatures for we're doing a, thank you, Spooky Family, who gave me this idea. I don't think we're going to do fairies, but I do think we're going to do, because I think you mentioned like woodland fairy, or maybe you did mention maybe like a woodland spring. I need to look for some stuff. We're going to be looking, everybody. And then I think I have some toadstools somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, we're only going to a couple of places today, but in this video, we'll go to more than a couple places. Get a little bit of a later start than I was wanting to. I'm going to go home, and then I'm going to eat some lunch. I have a Factor salad waiting for me in the fridge. I am hooked on these Factor salads, you guys. I've talked about Factor. This video is sponsored by Factor, by the way, so thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video. I've been talking about Factor, and mainly the dinners. I've had their breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, juices. Everything has been great that I've tried from Factor. But we normally do dinners because that's what makes our lives easier at my house. But lately, they expanded their menu, and they got these salads. Salads from Factor have been so good. Their Caesar salad, the chicken Caesar salad, is so good. That's my favorite. But also the buffalo chicken's really good. The Asian salad's all the salads we've tried have been really, really, really good. Anyways, if you're hearing me jab my jaws and you're like, "Ghoul, I've never even heard of Factor. I don't even know what you're talking about." If you haven't heard of Factor before, Factor delivers fresh, never frozen meals straight to your door. Take 2 minutes. You pop them in the microwave and they're ready to eat. They're so easy. They taste amazing. And what really stood out to me about Factor and what I love so much about Factor is the variety. Their variety of meals was already good, but they've also just doubled their menu. So that's 3 times new weekly meals than before. And they have 2 times more seafood meals, which one of my favorite meals from Factor, the ginger teriyaki salmon. Oh my gosh, if you're trying Factor, I usually get 2 of those in my box because I love it so much. And I also love their premium meals. When we're wanting a little bit more of an upgrade, like we want something like a filet, something a little fancier, their premium meals are delicious. Anyways, if you want to give Factor a try, you can head to factor75.com and use code LibraFB50 to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. So once again, that's code LibraFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year, which is a steal of a deal. Their breakfast also really good. Their pancakes, oh my gosh, what did I have recently? These apple butter, oh man, they were so good. So if you've been looking for an excuse to try Factor, definitely get that free breakfast, get that 50% off. That's a steal of a deal. Anyways, we're here. I'm just jabbing my jaws at this point. We're here at HomeGoods and TJ Maxx Hybrid and Michael's. We're going into this trifecta right here. Here we go. All right, we're here at HomeGoods, Michael's, and then TJ Maxx is over there. Mr. Skeleton, sir. He was looking at me as I was walking up to the car, everybody. I was like, oh, hi, there you are. Okay, we just left. Still recovering from plague number 510. We ended up, the reason we haven't gone Easter decor hunting, because last we talked, or went hunting, not talked, because we've jabbed our jaws since then. But last we hunted, I was like, oh, we'll go out next week to go Easter decor hunting. And then I freaking got sick, y'all. Again. So if my voice, especially during my closet clean out, because that's what I did while I was sick. Because I was like, well, I guess while I'm sick, I might as well. I mean, I wasn't like on my deathbed sick, but just annoying cough and runny nose sick. So I was like, well, while I'm sick, I might as well clean out my closet. And so at this point, being sick is just a way of life. So I'm like, all right, well, we're just going to clean out my closet because I'm not going to go anywhere and contaminate anything. So anyway, we hadn't been Easter decor hunting or spring decor hunting or anything. I don't even know where I was going with that, but it'll come to me. Anyway, so what happened? Where did we go? What did we see? We went to HomeGoods, and HomeGoods had a lot of Easter and spring stuff. Lots of bunnies and chicks and ducks, and they have pigs. I don't know. Maybe that was Michael's I'm thinking about. But they had a lot of pastel things to be expected. Bunnies holding Easter eggs, chicks with Easter eggs. They had, I talked about this a few years back. The sugar eggs, if you remember the sugar eggs, then you remember my great-grandmother used to have these sugar eggs. There are these eggs, and then inside there's like a little scenery thing, like a little bunny and some flowers and whatever. Anyways, or chick or whatever is in there. And they had a something that looked like that. They've done these the last couple of years. I don't even know what they call them, but it looks like one of those sugar eggs. I think that's what they're actually, like when I looked it up, they're called, like some place made them and they're made out of sugar, but this wasn't made out of sugar. This was just made out of resin or whatever. They had some Alice in Wonderland looking stuff. So I kind of talked a little bit about like maybe an Alice in Wonderland theme. The stuff they had, they did have black and white. They had this black and white rabbit with a hat, another black and white striped rabbit looking thing. Kind of wanting this whimsical kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but then also some little mini little, I don't know what you call those, little tiny daisies and like the little baby's breath looking kind of stuff in there, and just this kind of dainty whimsical looking mantle is what I'm envisioning in my mind. Maybe some wood tones in there with some of this stuff. It's kind of like a vintage inspired, like, I don't even know what I'm thinking about. Anyway, it's just in my mind and hopefully we can translate it. But almost Marie Antoinette style, but not. Kind of Victorian, whimsical Easter. I don't know what we're gonna do. That's just what's happening in my brain right now. Anyway, so a lot of this stuff is kind of more bright colored or more modern looking, like too modern looking for what I'm going for. And so, but there were a couple pieces that really stood out to me. They had this grayish looking rabbit that was laying down, had that kind of faded grayish look to it, and then like a whitewash to it. And then they had some of those grass bunnies and rabbits. So they had the big ones and the small ones, and they're that grass look. I've been talking about these grass bunnies for years now and never actually bought any of them, or the what are they, like kind of flocked bunnies and whatever, and I never actually ended up buying them because I'm like, I don't even know how I decorate with them. These were exactly what I was looking for, the exact color, and they were actual resin underneath or solid underneath. So a lot of these flocked looking bunnies or grass covered looking bunnies, all these stores are doing styrofoam underneath, and they are so flimsy. The ears break off. Every year I see them, they're like, there's foam. You can see the foam inside of them because an ear broke off. They just seem really fragile. The ones at HomeGoods, if you're also looking for these kind of grass-covered bunnies or rabbits or whatever, the ones at HomeGoods are way better quality and for the price. So I kind of priced them out. At Michael's, they had the foam ones, and those were, I think it was $20, but then it's 40% off. The ones at I almost said Home Depot. HomeGoods, the big one, and it was bigger than the ones at Michael's. That one was $20. And then the good sized one that was about the same size as the one at Michael's was $12.99. So you get a cheaper item, especially if you compare for size. And then you get the resin underneath. So it's not the foam that's going to snap off or break off or not last. So, and it's like the foam, I feel like is not, like if I try to set it on things, I feel like it kind of wobbles and is lopsided. So anyways, longest story longer, if you're looking for those bunnies and rabbits that are more heavy duty, HomeGoods has them. HomeGoods TJ Maxx. And then, what else? All right, we're back. I had to run in really quickly to Sam's to get some paper towels and some milk. And they had these Ghirardelli chocolate bunnies. And I'm already in heaven. But these are gonna melt. The caramel is just... Oh, okay, hold on. It's freaking hot. 69 degrees out. Ugh. Where's the AC thing? Man, I gotta have one more chocolate. Oh man, that's good. So good. Alright, I'm gonna go drop off this package. Oh, so we left off at HomeGoods. I went on a whole rant about those grass bunny things. Anyway, they had some other things. They had these eggs that I was contemplating. They were these glass eggs. Oh my gosh, this AC is making the weirdest noises. But they had these eggs, these glass eggs, and they were really cool looking. I was thinking, especially they had a black one. It's like a black, kind of grayish black color, like a slate color. I was like, this is perfect for what I'm looking for, because I've been looking for a big egg. A couple of years ago, I mentioned this. I was looking for a big egg for my mantle. And they had some there, but the problem with the black egg is the shape it was, you almost couldn't really tell it was an egg. It was, I mean, the pastel ones you could tell, but the black one almost just like, I don't know, it looked just like a black blob. And they also had one that I considered that had gold flecks and blue that I thought was the perfect size. Definitely looked like an egg, but it had gold, and I have a lot of silvery kind of stuff, so I didn't know. So I put it back. Anyways, they also had some of those chocolate bunny looking things where they're statues that look like chocolate bunnies, or the foil bunnies. Lots of just different Easter decor. Like a lot of, like I wasn't shocked by any of it. Cartoony looking rabbits. They had wooden looking rabbits. They had white rabbits. They had chicks and ducks and all the different spring looking animals doing with umbrellas and eggs and flowers. They also had some of the licensed stuff like Lilo and Stitch and Mickey and Minnie and what was another one? Winnie the Pooh, those types of things in this Easter area. And then I also saw some stuff in the ceramics. I didn't see hardly any mugs. I don't think I saw any mugs, any Easter mugs, but or maybe I did in the Peter Rabbit area, because they had some plateware. They had these Peter Rabbit, like this whole Peter Rabbit collection that had the dinner plate and then the appetizer plate, and they also had little mugs or little teacups and bowl. Did they have the bowls, or was it like the Tupperware looking bowls that they had that were ceramic that had some Peter Rabbit stuff on it? And yeah, just a little Peter Rabbit collection that was really cute. And then they also had another plate. They had two colors, but it had floral and then a bunny on it. They had blue and then they had green in this plate thing. And what else did we see? Saw a couple of blankets, some Snoopy Easter blankets, and I think they had a couple of Snoopy Easter blankets. They had it was Easter. It was a Sesame Street Easter blanket that had Elmo with bunny ears, and I think it had Grover. Did it have Cookie on it? Cookie Monster. They also had a couple of Peter Rabbit blankets, and some Easter. The Easter bathroom towels did not excite me that much. They had one that was pastel, one that was gray, one that had a glittery pink bunny on it. Nothing that really stood out to me too much, but they had some bathroom hand towels. They also had some kitchen towels that had, oh my gosh, they had a ton of kitchen towels. Lots of bunnies, rabbits, floral, and they also had little towels with chicks on it, and did they have one with ducks? Or just lots of bunnies. They had Peter Rabbit, they had pastel floral, bright colored stuff, floral looking towels, some really cute spring and Easter towels in here. And I'll continue to show those. But I just didn't know. I liked this green one. It was green with floral and the bunny on it. Almost matched those plates now that I think about it. And then I liked that one. And I think I liked the Peter Rabbit one too. Oh, they had a couple of sheets, a couple of Peter Rabbit Easter sheets. I think one set was yellow and one set was pink. And then, what else am I missing? I didn't see a lot of Easter pillows. But yeah, that's pretty much what I saw at HomeGoods. Anything I'm missing, I'll show here. But I think I covered the gist of it. Oh, then we went over to Michael's. Michael's, I couldn't tell if they were just starting to get stuff out or they were already picked over, but I think they were just starting to get stuff out. They had some of these really cool looking eggs that I was thinking about. The only thing is I didn't know if they would fit on my mantle. Like they may be too, like they may hang off my mantle. Like my mantle may not be wide enough. So, I don't know. I gotta think about that. But, they had these, they're not wicker. What are they called? Like ratatouille? No, not ratatouille. But you know what I'm talking about? They're like this, they look like sticks wrapped around. Anyways, they had a larger one and then kind of a medium-sized one. They were not the cheapest things I've ever seen, but they were the aesthetic I was looking for. And then they also had these big rabbit things, like a, I don't know, they're kind of like just these big, like they're like 3 feet tall, these rabbits. And they also had smaller looking, all sorts of those wood, they look like little wood chips in the shape of different bunnies and ducks. I think they had some, or chicks and pigs and all these little animals in the little wood chip look. And you know what? I know it's called something and I can never remember the name of anything, but I should probably know these things by now, but I don't. I don't know a dang thing, everybody. Anyways, they also had little statues of bunnies and chicks and lots of different bunny ones doing different things, holding umbrellas, holding eggs, bunnies with flowers. I think there was a bunny in a little flower pot. They had little signs that said Happy Easter. Lots of little figurines, tabletop decor in this area. They had little planter looking things in the shape of tulips or flowers. They had tulip pillows, and was there also a floral pillow in here? And they had a wreath with eggs. And what else do they have in here? Oh, they also had some other wall decor, floral, and then I think one had a bunny and some little fuzzy bunny figures or little tabletop decor. And yeah, lots of cute little pastels, bright colors. Actually, there were a lot of bright colors in this line. More bright colors than maybe even pastel. Then they had a whole other line that I loved. It looked like it would be a little kid's room in an old Victorian house. Old childlike look to it with florals. Like they had this really pretty floral print on the pillow, which didn't have to be childlike at all. That was more of just pretty, kind of that cottagecore look. And they had the pillow, and did they have something else in this? Oh, plates. They had some plates and I think a pitcher or something like that in this like little dishware area. They had some really cool pieces in this line. I really liked the whole color story of this line, and just the whole concept just wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I loved it. And what else did we see? They had some wicker eggs in this, like, or basket woven looking eggs in this area. A really pretty mirror that had this floral branchy kind of, what am I thinking, a frame to it. It was gold. And just some really pretty spring pieces. I loved this line. This might be my favorite line of all their Easter stuff they put out. And then, they also had some of those grass bunnies I was telling you about. They had some grass bunnies, but they were that foam. And the foam stuff, I just can't get on board. Like, it just feels kind of flimsy to me. Oh, I did look at some garland. They had a bunch of different kinds of garland. I couldn't decide. I think what I might do is dig out all my garland. I have a mossy looking garland and I have a fern garland. I'm going to dig out my garland and see what I can make work with what I have. Last year, hold on, let me go take this in. All right, I've been sitting here at the post office for 300 years, just jabbing my jaws. I was going on a rant about garland. Okay, last year, at the beginning of fall, end of summer, I found like all the spring and summer garland, like my fern garland that I used for my witch table, for $9. You cannot beat $9. I'm sorry, but you just cannot. So now that I found it for $9, I'm like, I'm hunting for all my garland. I'll be hunting when I'm Halloween hunting. I'll be looking for all the spring and summer garland on sale. And they had some Christmas garland on sale, but it was Christmassy for sure. But I'm going to try to see if I can work with what I got. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, so I'm going to dig out my fern garland and my moss garland, and I'm hoping the combination can mix up enough. I may go get one garland that's lighter, because I think the fern might be a little darker than what I'm going. I'm really not going for the fern gully look, but I could, like, I bought some other, what am I thinking? What is this? Floral stuff to kind of mix in there to where I can mix it into the fern stuff if I needed to. So I might put my ferns out. I just feel like ferns just, that's not the kind of spring stuff I'm going for. I'm going for more of like this mossy, in bloom kind of stuff. Viney kind of stuff, I think. Not ivy, but like, you know, like, I don't know what I'm thinking of. Oh, they had a bunch of other floral, different colors. I was looking at more of the lavender stuff. I thought the lavender was really pretty. But also, I'm not a big pink ghoul, but the super light pink, almost white, was really pretty. And the white. So I was kind of looking at more lavender and white-esque stuff. So I pulled some of this garlandy, floral stuff from everything that I saw. But they had a bunch of stuff to choose from. So we'll see how this mantle turns out. I'm wanting to mix some of the stuff I have with some new stuff, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's what we saw today. Anything else I'm missing, I'll show here. But we're going to keep looking. We're going to go back out on the hunt. We're going to go to HomeGoods, Walmart, and At Home at our next little day that we go hunting. So yeah, anyways, I'll see ya when I see ya. Hey everyone, it is another day, spring/Easter decor hunting with me and just me today. Good old Mr. Skeleton is in the garage. I'm trying to get out early this morning. It is early, and I wanted to get out to Walmart before, because I was going to go this afternoon, but going to Walmart at any point after 10:30 in the morning, I feel like is a total disaster. So I'm trying to go early. Anyways, I wanted to go to Walmart this morning because I want to see if they have their spring or Easter decor out, but also I want to see if they have any of their Easter basket stuff. I almost said Easter basket stuff, like stocking stuffers, but I mean, that's essentially what it is. Easter basket fillers, whatever. Anyways, this might be a two-part kind of day because I wanted to go to Walmart this morning and then I wanted to go back to HomeGoods, but I don't know if we're going to in this video because I don't know if I want to go to HomeGoods in the afternoon. It's usually just complete chaos, especially on a Friday. So I'm thinking we might just go in the next. We'll go back out Easter decor hunting, and we'll go a different day because I feel like we're just getting started with Easter decor hunting or spring decor hunting. Anyways, and then I wanted to go to At Home this afternoon and see their spring and Easter stuff because I saw they had some Alice in Wonderland inspired stuff and I want to check it out. So we're going to go there this afternoon. Oh, I hate that. Son, why? Why are you screaming at me? Son. Right here, everyone, we are back. Same day, different time. It is 2 p.m. and we are headed now to At Home to see what kind of, I almost said every other holiday except for Easter, what kind of spring and Easter stuff At Home has. All right, anyways, we went to Walmart. Why can't I see anything? What is going on with this mirror? Oh, there we go. So we went to Walmart and I was hauling balls in there and I had to call my mom and I had to call Dallas on the way home. So I didn't end up talking about what we saw. Let's talk about what we saw at Walmart. We saw they did have some spring/Easter decor. They had these grassy bunnies, but these ones were more of a, like, it looked like AstroTurf. It was more of a, instead of a soft kind of felty feel, velvety feel, it was more actual grass feel, like little prickly, like a green tinsel almost, but not shiny, like grass. It looked like fake grass on these bunnies. They had bigger ones, they had medium-sized ones, and they had smaller ones. They had the grassy bunnies, and then they had also all sorts of other bunnies, rabbits, all the different things in the velvet look and in a grassy look. They even had a hydrangea. Wait, was it hydrangea? Hydrangea? I can never say it right. Hydrangea. And they also had some that were, they have some that looked like they were more like bushes. I think they had some that looked like bushes, or they were more like trees coming out of a pot with eggs and bunnies. They had this whole blue section. It was like blues and whites, really, really pretty. They had a bust. It was like a rabbit bust where it was more of a detailed looking rabbit. And that one was more of a resin feel. It didn't have the foam. All the other bunnies had more of that foam feel to them. And then they had also in this blue area, had an egg. They had, I think they had a bunny or something else, but definitely an egg. They had some tabletop decor. They had some plate looking stuff. They had pillows with floral designs on them. And They also had, oh, what else do they have in this? They had another little area that had more of the classic pastels. They had eggs. They had little bunnies, little flocked bunnies, and carrots, woven looking carrots, orange and cream colored. And what else did they have? Did I already mention eggs? I think I did. And what else did I see? Oh, they had a wreath that had some velvet bunnies. They had a couple of different wreaths. One had more of a floral feel to it. Then the other one had a bunny outline, like the ears and the head outline. And they had some garland. One was the hydrangea garland. And then the other one was the velvet egg look garland. And they had some little baskets that looked like little egg cartons. They had a pretty decent selection at Walmart, and I liked the style of things they put out. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I thought it was a really pretty collection. I liked the color story. I liked the hydrangeas. I thought it was really pretty. And I liked the prices. I feel like the prices were reasonable. I think the big grassy bunny was 27 something. It was under $30. I'm pretty sure everything in the area was under $30, which I thought was fair. Even the big garland, the big hydrangea garland, was $24, which I feel like is fair for a garland. Garlands are freaking expensive. Same with wreaths. They're so expensive. So I felt like they had reasonable prices. And yeah, so that's what we saw for spring and Easter decor. Anything else I'm missing, I'll show here. But I thought it was a really pretty collection, all things considered. So then they had some Easter basket stuffer things, or Easter basket, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? So they had, and one of them, you'll hear when I get to it, you'll know, because I went on a whole rant. Went on a whole rant during Halloween hunting about something that you're going to see as I'm talking about this. So they had some Easter basket, different themes, just in case you're also shopping, whether it's for your kids or your nieces, nephews, whatever, grandchildren, whoever. So they had Stitch, like a whole little Stitch section that my niece is gonna go crazy over. They had little plushies, they had chalk, they had a basket, a Stitch Easter basket, and all the different themes had similar items in them. So they just changed up the theme. So then they also had, was it Pokemon? So they had a Pikachu hat, they had little plushies, they had pencils and little pencil erasers or pencil toppers, and they had chalk also in the Pokemon section. And then also they had a Jurassic Park section that once again had a water bottle or little tumbler thing. They had this mallet. It was a big inflatable mallet that was in the shape of a dinosaur. I almost just want to get it, even though I'm not doing that theme for my boys' Easter baskets, maybe for the pool or something, or just in general for home. I feel like it's so funny. But anyways, they had other Jurassic Park things like little eggs and tattoos once again, and little art supplies or little coloring book things and chalk. And then they also had, Minecraft. Once again, little stuffies, pencil toppers and erasers and little notebooks and chalk and all the different things. And they also had Super Mario Brothers. And Super Mario Brothers, I loved the whole theme, especially the baskets. They had a toadstool basket and they had a star basket with eyes. I thought this was the coolest basket selection of the whole thing. And they had the little plushies and a notebook and stickers and chalk and all the other stuff that all the other ones had too. But in the Super Mario Brothers theme. And then they had Hello Kitty. And you guys, I went on this whole rant during Halloween season about Bats Maru and how I wish we saw more Bats Maru. Well, guess who was there, everybody? On this little makeup bag, or a little, it could be a pencil case or whatever, but it's like a little bag. They had the full crew, and guess who was in there? Bats Maru. There he was in all of his glory, and I was so excited to see him. But they had other things too, the plushies, the various plushies, and they were scented plushies. So each plushie had a different scent. I thought that was really cute. And then they had a little, like a sticker set. They had the water bottle. They had, what else? Do they have the tattoos? They had some glitter spray, and the Hello Kitty section was just in your face. They had a lot of different things to choose from, where the other ones had a lot of similar stuff, like the tattoos and the plushies and stuff. The Hello Kitty stuff, they had a lot to choose from. The baskets were really cute. And then what was the last one? There was another one that I'm not remembering at the very end. And they had a whole little Bluey section. Once again, had the plushies and the water bottle, and they had a little tin, little lunchbox looking thing, and the tattoos and all the different things, the chalk, the whole shebang in Bluey as well. And they also had Peeps. They had a whole Peep section of all different Peep things. They had Play-Doh, they had slime, they had nail polish, they had foam, like at Floam. Do you guys remember Floam? If you're a millennial, please tell me you remember Floam. It was like a whole Nickelodeon Floam. Now they just call it foam sensory, like a foam sensory thing, but it used to be called Floam. That's what they called it back in the day. If you remember Floam, you remember. I can smell it just thinking about it. Anyway, they had stuffed Peeps and all the different themes. They had a goth one. I think it was supposed to be goth because it had a moth on it and it was black, and it had hot pink, and it had like a little emo. Maybe it was an emo Peep. But anyways, they had some edgy looking Peeps. Then they had classic Peeps. They had Peep Easter baskets. They had Peep. What else did they have? They had Peep bubbles. They had a Peep bubble gun. Oh, that was another thing they had in the other section too. They had all the different themes with little bubble guns, so you can, it comes out, bubbles come out of it. And then they had chalk. They had bath bombs. They had bubble bath. They had, what was another bath thing they had? A Peep bubble set thing. They had Peep bows, they had a Peep sleeping bag. It looked so comfortable. It looked amazing. Whole Peep sleeping bag, Peep blankets, Peep. It was a whole section of Peeps. A Peep egg decorating kit, Peep tattoos. And I want to say, and then they had some candy, y'all. I didn't get visuals of the candy, but I did pick up a little something, because this wouldn't be a hunting video without a little bit of holiday candy. I found these Warheads chewy bunnies in blue, raspberry, and lemonade, or blue, raspberry, lemonade it says, but I think the yellow is lemonade and the blue is blue raspberry. My mouth is watering already. I figured we'd taste them before we go into at home. But that's pretty much what we saw at Walmart so far. I haven't seen the dollar section, so I can't speak on that yet. Oh wait, what is this? This looks like what am I trying to say? I'm drooling, everybody. I can't even talk. This looks like a Sour Patch Kid. I'm used to seeing the Warheads that have that kind of milky color. This is like a Sour Patch Kid. They're really good. And to this day, I will never stop talking about, and I will never stop hunting for those little lifesavers, the spring mix lifesavers. I can't find them anywhere, but I will always search for them. They didn't have them at Walmart. But these are really good. And actually sour, but in the best way possible. Whoa! That blue raspberry's sour. Made my eye twitch. Alright, Mr. Skeleton, you hold these. And we're going into At Home to see what they got. Alright, At Home. Here we come. Or at Gnome. Oh, I bet we're going to see gnomes today, y'all. It is spring. I don't know what in the seagull is happening. We don't even have a sea anywhere close to me in Kansas. We're in the smack dab center of Kansas, y'all. No, sorry, of the country, not in Kansas. We're on the right-hand corner of Kansas, y'all. But smack dab in the center, the booty hole of America. I'm just kidding. But They're seagulls. I swear those were seagulls. Unless I don't know anything about birds, so maybe they weren't. But we're having another lemonade situation. I fell in love with this whole outdoor furniture setup that they had in there. It's like this black base with this white cushions. I know. You're like, cool, dream on. There they are again. There's two of them. They look like seagulls. I'm not imagining it. Anyway, it was this black base with these white cushions, well, like kind of off-white, and then they had these planters that were these tall, kind of long. The whole setup was so pretty. It makes me. We need to get our deck worked on because we've got this big deck on the back, and it needs restained, but it just needs redone. Our boards are old and starting to rot, and we just need to get it redone. And it's time. We've been putting it off for way too long. But oh man, it's just not a project I want to do right now. Or not that I'm gonna do it, but you know. Or where do we start? So they did have some Alice in Wonderland inspired stuff. They had, which a lot of people have, which I like, a garden and a rabbit and a top hat. That's very Eastery, so I'm not surprised. But they had a lot of the rabbit with the top hat, and one of them was like the statue where he's juggling. I think, was it plates or teacups? And they were all pastel. And then they had these black and white checkered eggs that were really cool. The two that were left over were damaged and kind of scraped up. But dang, those were really cool. But I don't know if that's the direction I'm wanting to go anyway. They also had these bronze looking bunnies or rabbits or whatever that were, they had this etched look to them. This is the vibe I'm going for. So if I get anything, I'm going to go back and get these bunny or rabbit things. And they had one that was holding a wooden carrot. And then they were kind of old world looking. That's what I'm looking for. And then they had a lot of green faux grass or velvety looking. And they also had clover looking bunnies and rabbits. And big ones, smaller ones. And they had, but all the different greenery looking bunnies and rabbits. And then of course they had the velvet looking bunnies and all the pastel colors, but also in white. And then they had some that were glittery looking, and some, they upped their game with the foam rabbits or bunnies or whatever this year. And then they had a bunch of tabletop decor, things that said welcome and happy Easter, happy spring. They also had this black and white checkered egg that had tulips coming up out of it. It was more of like a planter look. They had some other planter looking things in here. And they had some wreaths. They had some in the shape of like a bunny head with the ears and everything. And then they had the wreaths with the kind of speckled robin's egg looking things and in the different colors. They also had boxes of the eggs. So boxes of robin's eggs in all the different colors. They had pastels, and then they also had bright colors. And then they also had other tabletop decor like bunny cutouts and like full bunny cutouts, and then like the cutouts of the head. And then they also had this really big white rabbit that was, one of them was he carrying flowers on his back, and the other one was holding flowers. But they did have some big pieces in here. They also had an Alice in Wonderland inspired rabbit with the top hat and everything in all pastels that was holding a tray. So they did have some bigger pieces. They also had this big bunny piece that almost looked like a huge cookie cutter that had flowers. And they had a bunch of that wood chip look, you know, kind of like what we saw at Michael's, where it's a bunch of different wood chip, like they look like they're made out of little wood chips. And they had a bunch of different bunnies. They had bigger ones, smaller ones. And they also had some that looked like chicks and ducks. And I think there was one that was like a chick with bunny ears on, maybe, or maybe I'm imagining that. And then they also had a bunny that was more of a metallic look. And yeah, they had a lot of stuff in here, lots to see. Oh, they also had eggs. They had some glass eggs with kind of that speckled look, if you know what I'm talking about. Pink, they had blue. They also had eggs that almost looked like there was like a texture to it or etching. And then they had eggs that were hand painted. Man, they had a lot of stuff. I didn't even realize I mean, it's such a big store that you don't really feel like you're seeing a lot, because I feel like Easter isn't even the biggest holiday there. I would say it's Halloween and Christmas, of course. Compared to Halloween and Christmas, it's not this huge display, but then when you start talking about everything that you're seeing, you're like, wait, there was a lot there. But they had a lot to see. They had some rugs, some outdoor rugs, like some front porch rugs, and some indoor rugs, and a couple of bathroom rugs. They also had some little pots in the shape of eggs. They had some baskets. They had baskets with bunny ears. Oh man, they had all sorts of Easter stuff. I'll just continue to show everything. Carrots, eggs. They had outdoor little metal signs that you can put in your yard. They had wreaths. They had garlands. They had so much stuff. Oh my gosh, it was all spring. And then what else did we see? Anything else I'm missing, I'll show here. They had all sorts of stuff like that. Anyways, I wanted to mention something really exciting because I was walking through at home and I saw, I don't know if it's exciting yet. I don't know if it's Memorial Day decor or 4th of July decor or both. But if it's 4th of July decor, then that means Halloween is coming out so much earlier at home this year. Because if they already have 4th of July out in February, when is Halloween coming out? And that gets me, that question gets me the most excited. But it could be Memorial Day decor, because that's May, and I could be getting all worked up for nothing. But I think my voice is already giving out, by the way, because I can't get over this dang. I'm over the cold. I don't have any congestion left, but I still have the voice. Oh, here comes Dallas and Lachlan. Anyway, that's besides the point. Thank you so much for hanging out here for another week. Spring/Easter/ just hunting in general. Getting out and getting some fresh air with me and good old Mr. Skeleton. And yeah, that is anything you're seeing out there. Anything. Well, first of all, let me know your spring decorating style. Do you decorate just all year round with dark decor, or do you do pastels, more floral? Do you do like an Easter, or do you decorate with more of a spring, just in general spring decor, or none of the above? Or do you do like a cottagecore vibe? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. And yeah, anything else you want to jab your jaws about in the comments, let's jab our jaws. And yeah, anyways, thank you so much for hanging out here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.